Hey, what's up, guys? So, I ended up getting matched up with EliteDanger. We both lost, and he actually lost to Updog, so the matchmaking looks a little bit different now. This is the winner's bracket so far, 1-0, and the loser's bracket, 0-1. This is EliteDanger, and here are my stats. This is what I decided to go with on defense. So, of course, room 1 is pretty standard, but my opponent used this in room 2, and I liked it a lot. So I want to try that. I'm going to try this X-Men comp with Bishop and Phoenix, mostly to try to still pull Masters of Evil here. And this way I can use Rogue in 2. Most likely I see a Master of Evil. It could be something else, but I see that. I think room 4 is still pretty tough. This is what I had yesterday. My opponent had to go in with the Apoc and a strong counter there. And I'm going to try out Black Order in 5 with Absorbing Man as the pre-taunt. We'll see how that does. And try to mix it up a bit with Spider Society and Quicksilver in 6. And so my opponent has the same in 1. So these counters that I'm going to list out are pretty much what I think is my best bet. But I'm going to do Pegasus on 1. And since Updog did a counter with Hive Mind Skrull on this type of comp on 2, I'm going to try that. I'm going to have to talk to him a bit, see how that plays out. Then on 3, I'm thinking, because there's no Lizard here, we're going to do Secret Defenders and Nova. On 4, I think I've gone through this quite a bit, but since I have Apoc available, I'm going to do Apoc Superior 6. On 5, I'm going to do, because I think the most efficient counter is one Juicy did, where you have Cabal, Vulture, and Emma. And then on 6, I saw the Jex counter, and so he used the Masters of Evil with Doom. So I'm going to try that out, see how this goes, guys, and give this a shot. So Updog just mentioned this counter to me yesterday, and he was like, "Did you see it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I saw part of it, but I was really sleepy and couldn't remember how it goes." So he sent it to me in a DM, and basically the idea is to avoid Old Man Logan as much as possible. So fortunately for me, the positioning of this attack, I was able to hit 3 with the Super Skrulls special here. And from there, it's just like he said, just kind of avoid the Old Man Logan as much as possible until, of course, you get to all the ults from the Hive Mind, and then from there it's just kind of smooth sailing. So this counter, I had already planned it in my mind to go in with the Superior 6 and Apoc. So the question was who to take out, and I said, yeah, I'm going to have to take out Craven. I had heard Sham and I think Pat and some other guys over last month or so saying that's the one you're going to have to drop in something like this. So I changed the position in order just to have Slayer on the end because I figured he'd be safest that way. And the idea is just going to the attack the same as always, just kind of focusing in on Black Knight till you get the Slayer's ult, and then you try to kill him. And then after that, it's just pretty much smooth sailing. So the Masters of Evil with Doom is on Sasquatch's counter sheet, I guess commonly known as the MSF counter sheet. And the guy that did it was Zuggs. So Zuggs actually had this on here twice. And what I thought about just a little bit too late is, you don't have Absorbing Man. How would this work out? So at first thought I was thinking to try it with Doom and Ultron. I was like, yeah, that's probably not going to work. And then it dawned on me, I said, well, what kind of pre-taunt do you have that would be good for this? And I said, I can go to Undying. And so let me just do that. And so I put in Zuggs. And the counter actually works pretty well with Zuggs. I think your preference would still be Absorbing Man for most cases because of synergy with the Massive Evil, but Zuggs is a very good replacement. So in starting this off, I remember the main thing is that Zuggs went in on Forge. At first thought I was like, well, why would he do that? And I was like, oh yeah, this is room 6. Rogue is probably not going to get to her special anytime soon. And so I said, yeah, let me just focus in. Now, perhaps I could have hit Gambit, but I was like, just stay in on Forge. And then after that, it was like, okay, Rogue is taunting, and just go in and do the steps as you normally would from here if you were in any other room. The idea thing is that when Doom ults, it gives me a chance to go ahead and really capitalize on my Kang. The difference is that I think Zuggs was going up against a bigger extreme rogue Dorm, and so he had to use the Kang basic one time on Forge to get him a little bit lower, and then he used the ult. In my case, Forge was low enough, so I just opted to go right for the ult right then. Once again, going to Sasquatch's counter sheet, I wanted to look for what would be the most efficient counter based on what I have left, because I'm sure I could throw together 2 or 3 different versions of this Cabal team and make it work. And what turned out to be, actually my first selection was Juicy, and it was extremely efficient, was to go in with Vulture and Emma. And so as I thought about it here, I said, well, let me just change the position order because I want to be safe. I want to make sure I don't run into mishaps as I have in the past, just assuming that Cabal would wreck my opponent's team. So I spaced them out, and then that's when I decided to go in for the attack. The big thing is that Juicy did go for the Skrull with the Vulture special, and then he commented later like maybe I should have gone for the slow on the Void Knight. So I tried that just to see. I don't think it makes much of a difference. And after that, I just focus in on the Skrull, and from there you can see how it plays out as it normally would. So this team is a question mark, and I was like, who do I use as a 5th? My first thought is Nova, so I said, let me go in with this team here, because I already had a preset, and see how it will do against this particular matchup. And I don't remember doing it in room 3, so I think what happened is it throws off this counter a little bit in room 3. But as you can see, I go in with hard lights onto Doc Ock, and then I decide to stun the Goblin. And then again, I stunned the Craven. And I'm thinking this thing is going really smoothly. And so I said, well, maybe the best bet here is to go ahead and Billy block Doc Ock, because I don't want him healing up the team. And I thought I was in good place here. The thing is Doc Ock does call for a friend, and the match kind of takes a swift turn after this. So kind of being slightly in a panic mode, I'm like, well, what do you do? Who do you use? And I said, well, should I use Craven? And I said, I don't know how that will work. So I said, let me just use Kestrel. And I throw in Kestrel. And the plan is to kind of start off the same way, since I had some success, and see if any of Kestrel's pings will work. The thing is, Kestrel almost dies right here. I'm like, oh boy, what am I going to do? And I forgot, I only have one stun. So I go in and I stun the Green Goblin. And it looks like this time around, instead, just going in and ability blocking the Craven may have been a good move. I'm not quite sure why, and maybe because Kestrel is still alive, I'm getting some pings in. But when I place the blind, Kestrel gets in another ping, and I think that's when the match kind of shifts towards my favor. So from here, the main thing I'm focusing on is try to get out that Green Goblin, and then I want to focus on the Doc Ock. And so just as quickly as I subbed in Kestrel, I was like, wow, I don't have Kestrel. And I thought about it, and Sham said, well, if you ever have to use Kestrel somewhere else, you just sub in Nova and it'll work. And so I subbed in Nova. It plays slightly differently. My efficiency may have been a little bit lower than using Kestrel, but it does work. And so just let's take a look and see how this goes. So I guess a win is a win. It's good to get a win, but it's a little disappointing my opponent didn't attack. And when we look here, you can see that when he went against Updog, he got in like half his attacks. So maybe he's tanking on purpose. He just put in some points to have some so he can, I don't know, but he didn't try with me. So that's like I said, that's a little disappointing. But on the brighter side of things, it does move me up a bit, kind of back to where I was. But in the end, the main thing is I'm climbing the ladder on both sides. So the 1830 does put me in a good position if I were able to get a win today on this next battle, and then next week it'd have a really good week. But anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Chat later.